Hey guys, thank you very much for checking out the channel, and I want to thank everyone for getting us past 50 subscribers. And as a thank you for getting us there, what I'm going to be doing is hosting a live raffle, or at least a raffle. So people will have to submit their info if they want to be eligible to win. And basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give a free game, either on Steam or on Oculus, for a lucky winner who enters in the raffle. But with that being said, again, thank you guys very much for getting us past 50 subscribers. But let's just get right into the video. And this is a development video about a current project that I've been working on, and to be honest, haven't really had much time to work on it. It's been nearly 2 weeks since I've touched on it. And you're probably wondering what this project is about, and I'm going to describe that in just a moment. But first, let's put it into context. So right now, what you see on the screen here is actually Ubuntu 18.04, and then I'm going to zoom out, and you're going to see that I have my Oculus along with a bunch of stuff on top of my desk. So I apologize for the mess, but as you can see, we have a junction box, and we have this motor here for a portable DVD player, and then the junction box itself, and then the DVD player. And this is all related to this, which is my NVIDIA Jetson Nano version B01, which is a single board computer that's very similar to a Raspberry Pi. And this is going to get all tied together as I describe a little bit further here. But one of the goals that I'm trying to do is to get the Jetson Nano to work with the Oculus Quest 2. And one of the ways that I was trying to do that was to get Steam and Steam VR on the Jetson Nano. And don't be afraid, guys, this is actually a filter for the intake so that dust doesn't collect inside. And I found it's a really effective way to keep a computer clean. And so all this fun stuff that you see here on the terminal is actually, I recently just updated. So once I opened up the Jetson Nano, I updated sudo apt-get update, and as you can see, it's throwing a bunch of errors for this i386. Now, if you guys are familiar with the Jetson Nano, this is actually a 64-bit ARM processor, which is much different from this Windows machine, which is an x86 64-bit processor. And this is going to start to make a lot more sense. So what you can see here is that I tried to start the Steam application, and it's showing that it needs these packages to be able to run. Now, these packages are actually 32-bit packages, which the Steam application is a 32-bit application. So what does that mean? Well, I can't install Steam VR to run with this guy. So that's actually the premise of the whole project, and this is just showing, again, some of the obstacles that need to be overcome to be able to do that. So I originally was trying to get Steam and Steam VR to run natively on the x86 without running a virtual machine. Unfortunately, I was not able to do that, and I think one of the biggest hurdles that we're really going to come across is that specific reason is because this is a 32-bit application, and this is an ARM64, so it's a 64-bit ARM processor that's not going to run the Steam VR application. With that being said, the alternative that I'm looking into is running a virtual machine, or something like Wine. Now, Wine is dependent also on i386, and for those who are not familiar, Wine is not an emulator, so WINE, and it's an application that basically runs Windows applications on a Linux machine. But because Wine is also dependent on these packages as well, this guy is not going to run this guy. So there's an alternative which I'm looking into, which is using an emulator called Kimu, and without getting too deep into it, it's going to take up some memory. Luckily, the Jetson Nano has 4 gigs of RAM, or at least this version, the B01. There is a smaller There is a smaller version that's a 2 gigs of RAM, but I ended up going with this one when it was first released, and the smaller version actually was not available at the time. So the good news is that the headset does recognize the Jetson Nano when I do attach it. And I'm not going to show it here, but if you wanted to transfer files that you have on your Oculus Quest 2 onto the Jetson Nano, you're going to be able to do that. So if you want to do that, go ahead. But another note, you're probably wondering as well, why did I want to do this? Well, the real question is, why not? And one of the great advantages with having an ARM processor versus something like an x86, minus something like the new Steam Deck that's going to be coming out, or the Aya Neo, which is an x86 architecture, similar to this laptop, but a much smaller form factor and lower power draw. This little guy here can actually run on like 5 to 10 watts. It's not going to be very performant, but that's part of the reason that I wanted to do that. And on top of that, it's much more portable. Obviously, it's not going to be as portable once I have the portable DVD player and this junction box all put together. But believe it or not, even with all these big parts assembled together, it's actually still lighter than the laptop and the power brick that it comes with. So again, it's kind of an endeavor that I have, and maybe if you're a developer out there and maybe you want to help out with try to get this project together, that'd be fantastic. I can tell you right now, just full disclosure, I'm not a Linux guru. I would say that I'm comfortable working on Linux. I think it's very close to using something like a Windows desktop. There are a lot more kind of technical things that you need to deal with, but otherwise it's really much simpler than people just are afraid of. And one of the great things too is that it is a free operating system, and on top of that, very well supported. Again, this is 1804 Ubuntu, so it's an older version, and it's actually only going to be supported by NVIDIA until 2023, because it is a developer board. So that does give me a little bit of time to be able to work on it, but I'm not going to spend that much time on getting this bad boy to work here. But with all that being said, hopefully I can get it to work. But again, the biggest hurdle that I'm dealing with is making a 32-bit application, or even trying to get the Oculus app to run on this is going to require an additional steps that, to be honest, I'm not too familiar with. And one of the ones that I'm exploring right now is KEMU, or KEMU, which is a type of emulator. So it's going to run something like a virtual machine to be able to run Windows application, and that might be a good alternative to be able to get everything to work. But until then, this is the major problem that I'm going to be dealing with, and on top of that, assembling all these parts together so that it can be a separate computer that I can run. So that is the summary of the developer project that I'm working on. It's something that I work on during after hours, because I got some other things that I got to do during the day. But otherwise, that's what's going on, guys. Stay tuned with what's going on with this journey, and I hope to maybe come up with a solution and get it out to you guys, just in case you too want to try to get a Jetson Nano to work with an Oculus Quest 2. Thank you guys very much, and make sure to tune in later this week, so that you can potentially win a free game from Steam or Oculus provided by me. So thank you guys very much. Have a wonderful day, and talk to you soon.